everyone, welcome back to another video. So today in this video I'm going to share with you my top 10 essentials for coloring. If you are a beginner and you've just discovered this hobby, I feel like this video is going to be super helpful. If you are someone who's been coloring for a little while now, you may see some things in this video that you have not yet seen, or you may decide that you want to pick up for yourself. Now, I've done videos like this in the past, but I'm going to put a little bit of a twist on it in this video because for this one, I'm going to give you options. So I'm going to have 10 different categories, and then for each category, I'm going to share different options with you so that you've got some different things to choose from, and then you can just choose the one you feel would work best for you. So I have a lot of things to share with you in this video, so let's go ahead and get started. If you check the description box down below, I will have links down there for everything that you see in this video, as well as my email list, my Facebook group, my Etsy shop, and my Patreon if you would like to support me there. I also now have channel membership. If you would like to find more information out about that, you can click the join button down below the video. So my number one essential would of course be coloring books, because you need a coloring book if you're going to color, right? So I've got 3 different suggestions here for you. My first suggestion in this category would be Johanna Basford's Rooms of Wonder. This is her newest release and I absolutely love this coloring book. Now, I'm not going to do full flip throughs of any of these because I think for this book I did do a flip through, so you could find that on my channel. I'll try to link it in the upper right hand corner if I can, but I'll just show you a few of the pages. So you will notice in this book there's lots of little things and little tiny details, but I feel like this book is really great for beginners because you've got pages like this where you've got all these individual little items that you can color. This here was a tutorial that I did with Crayolas. I love the way that turned out, but you can search my channel to find that if you're interested. Now, the one reason that I do suggest Johanna's books is because if you are following tutorials or color alongs on YouTube, you will find many of them are using Johanna's books, or at least what I've seen on other people's channels. And a lot of the tutorials on my channel, I use Johanna's books as well. I like to use her books for my tutorials because I feel like a lot of people do have her books. I feel like they're one of the most popular, but there is something for everybody in these books. And I just love how she has the pages where if you just want to do a really quick color, you can just color one small object at a time without getting overwhelmed. That was Rooms of Wonder. Now, if you've been watching my channel for quite some time, you know that my absolute favorite book is World of Flowers. This is a new copy. This isn't the one that has all of my colorings in it, but I have colored in this book quite a lot, and I have tons of tutorials on my channel coloring in this book. I absolutely love this book. I love the paper in the book. You do have the pages where you have little small intricate things on it, and you can color just one object if you want, or you can do a full page. So this is one of my absolute favorite spreads in this book because you've got lots of individual flowers. You could put some colors together and just experiment with these before you go and color one of the bigger flowers on the other page. I've got lots of tutorials on my channel for a lot of the flowers on this page. I believe I've done this one and I've done this one. This was a Prismacolor tutorial using just 3 colors, and then I used Black Widows and colored this one. I've done several of the flowers on this page, and if you search my channel, I'm sure that you'll find those. But I have a whole playlist of coloring nothing but flowers on my channel, and I'll try to link that in the upper right hand corner if I can. That is Johanna Basford's World of Flowers, and both of these books are absolutely beautiful. Now, my other favorite coloring book is Botanicum, and again, my other copy is very colored in, so I pulled out a copy a subscriber sent me quite some time ago that has no coloring in it, but I love Maria Trolle's books because the paper is absolutely wonderful. And again, if you enjoy coloring flowers, you will really enjoy these books. There's not just flowers in here, but she's got lots of animals to color. And here we have a cute little house. and a bunny. I actually just finished a whole color along for this page here. If you've not yet seen that, I'll link that in the upper right hand corner. Lots of tutorials in that color along. Here we have a little duck. There's lots of butterflies in this book. I just absolutely love this one, but the paper is wonderful and the paper works so well whether you want to use your oil-based pencils or your wax-based pencils. The paper is smoother, but it has a very little bit of tooth. A lot of you have expressed to me that you don't really enjoy laying down layer after layer after layer with your colored pencils. So this would be a really good book for you to get started with if you don't enjoy laying down all of those layers with your colored pencils and you just want to put the color down, blend some colors together, and create something really beautiful. Rooms of Wonder, the US version, does also have a smoother paper, and this one would also be wonderful for those of you that are beginners that don't like to lay down all of those layers. So number 2 on my list is colored pencils. We all need colored pencils if we're going to be coloring. We need something to bring all of those beautiful coloring pages to life, but these are my Prismacolors. I'm going to share with you a couple different choices for artist grade sets, and I'm also going to share my choice for an essential budget set as well for those of you that want to start out but don't have a lot of money to spend. If you've been watching my videos for quite some time, you know that these are my absolute favorite. This is actually my set that I use to pull colors from when my others get smaller. I'm not sure if I pulled from this set yet. Maybe this is the set that is more complete, but you can see there's lots of gorgeous colors in here. I love the Prismacolors for the array of colors that you get in here. You get lots of different choices from all the different color families. Look at all these gorgeous blues we get all the way to here. We get all these different percentages of grays. You get your warm grays, your cool grays, and your French grays. Of course, your black and your white. And we all need a white Prismacolor because those are wonderful for adding in all of those extra highlights on our coloring pages. We get lots of beautiful yellows. I use those all the time as well to add all of those bright highlights on my coloring pages, especially for leaves. I love to mix the yellows with the greens, but there are 150 colors in this set. Now I do also want to say that the Prismacolors are a waxier pencil, but they're a little smushier when you lay them down on your coloring pages. They do work on most any coloring book. I've not had any issues with my Prismacolors. They are my absolute go-to set of pencils, and I love them in the Amazon coloring books, in Johanna Basford's coloring books, Maria Trolle's coloring books, Hannah Carlson's coloring books. They seem to work best in all of the most popular coloring books, as well as the Amazon printed books. If you are somebody who thinks you want to start out with a whole lot of pencils and you want to just go right to an artist grade set, this is a great set to start with. These are my Polychromos. And I wanted to bring these out and share them with you because if you are somebody who prefers a harder pencil and an oil-based pencil, the Prismacolors are wax-based, and that's why they are going to be much more blendable, and when you lay them down they're just much different. But these you will apply in lots and lots of very light layers. They perform beautifully, and I love my Polychromos. So if you're somebody who wants to start out with an artist grade set, you're already sure that you love this hobby, the Polychromos are a great set to start with. Now I would not run out and purchase both the Prismacolors and the Polychromos. I would try to choose between one or the other because they are both rather expensive. I think the Prismacolors have gone back up in price and they're somewhere around $130 on Amazon right now, and these are up there as well. I think these are around $170. They did drop to right around $150 very recently. I'm not sure if they're still on that deal, but if they are, that is the time to snatch them up. But these are a wonderful set, and I do have some tutorials on my channel using the Polychromos. I have lots of tutorials on my channel using both of these sets of pencils. These are my Brute Fooner square colored pencils. Now these are absolutely wonderful. So when you purchase budget sets on Amazon, they are never usually in color family order, and I like putting them into color family order, but I have done that for you and I have a video on that. So I will try to link that in the upper upper right hand corner if I can, but these are absolutely wonderful. I'll flip through here just so you could see some of the colors. There are some gorgeous colors in this set, but they are advertised as an oil-based pencil. They are still very blendable, and to me they feel like they're on the softer side. They're somewhere in between a Prismacolor and a Polychromos. So if you are somebody who is still using harder pressure with your pencils and you're trying to work towards using lighter pressure, then these may be a good choice for you, especially if you're trying to stay on a budget. These are a wonderful set. But before you purchase these, I would suggest checking out my video review so that way you could see if these seem like they are a good choice for you. Number 3 on my list is pencil cases. When you order your colored pencils, of course, you're going to need somewhere to put them, and it's so much more convenient to put your pencils in a case rather than keeping them in the tin. I find that if I have my colored pencils in a case, I tend to pull them out more, especially if I have them in a case and I've got them all in color family order. It's so much easier for me to pull my colors and start working on my coloring pages without being frustrated. Because a lot of times with the tins, they have the trays in there, so you have to continually take the trays and pull the trays out one by one and go through your colors, and it's just really inconvenient. So this makes it much easier. I believe this one holds 160 pencils. You can see over here on the side that I've got a bunch of extra slots, and then I also have some extra slots in between all of the pencils, and I like to keep mine that way. And if I'm going to be taking my coloring out, I like to have these slots here to be able to put a small pencil sharpener in. And I'm going to show you the small pencil sharpeners that I use as we get a little bit further into the video. These are the square Brute Fooners, the ones I had suggested for those of you that want to stay on a budget, and I believe they also come in a 72 set. So if you don't feel like you want to start out with 120 colors, which sometimes that can be overwhelming, this is the case that holds 72 colored pencils. They call it a 72 case, but they do give you just a few extra slots. And then you have the slots over here where you could add a pencil sharpener or whatever you'd like. A very little pencil sharpener would fit in there. But you can see that this one is much, much smaller than this bigger one. And if you had just 72 pencils, it would be much easier to take your coloring with you. And this way you could take just a smaller case along with a coloring book and have everything you need to pack a bag and take your coloring to go color with a friend or sit in a coffee shop. Here is another option for pencil cases. I absolutely love these, especially if you want to be more mobile with your coloring. I have my first set of Prismacolors that I ever bought in this one. These are really great. It's so easy to pull your pencils in and out and put them back. I just absolutely love these cases. But if you want to take your coloring with you, these are perfect. They do have the little slots down here where you can maybe stick like a Posca pen or a couple gel pens, or maybe your mono eraser would hook right onto here, or again some pencil sharpeners. But this is really, really nice because then you just roll it back up like this, and then you put this around it. And I took this one with me for the longest time when I was mobile with my coloring, and I would go to a coffee shop all of the time and sit and color. And it's so convenient to put in a coloring tote because it just takes up one very small corner of your bag. Okay, y'all, so number 4 is pencil sharpeners. You need a way to be able to sharpen your pencils. When your pencils first come to you, they usually have a wax film around the tip of the pencils, and it's there just for protection. And I always suggest that you sharpen your pencils right away and then put them in color family order, then put them in their cases before you swatch them out. So these are the options I have for pencil sharpeners. Now I've got both of these jar lengths here. I have them laying down flat. They're rolling all over the place, but I wanted you all to be able to see the difference between these two here. But this is the older jar length. It is not available anymore. It is a wonderful pencil sharpener, but unfortunately, we can't get it anymore. Every once in a while, it does pop up again on Amazon. And when it does, I always try to share the link, but they go out super, super fast. So, because this one was not available anymore and the company knew that I loved it so much, they were nice enough to send me this one. This is the replacement for the other one, and the only real difference between this one and the other one is that this one you need to plug in to be able to use it, whereas this one here, it is rechargeable. And so that is really, really convenient, because if you wanted to, you can actually take this one with you. If you wanted to take something with you that is this big, if you were going to a friend's house to color or whatever. For those of you that that's not a deal breaker, this is a fantastic sharpener. So I'm not going to sharpen any pencils in this video because I've already showed this in another video and quite a few other videos. So if you want to see how this one sharpens and how it performs, you can check out my video review. I'll link it in the upper right hand corner. This is the other option. This is the Doll 133. Now this one is going to have a lever on the back where you turn it. And I do have a couple videos on this one. I have a video where I show you exactly how to use it because a lot of people were struggling and getting a little frustrated, but it is very, very easy to use. You just pull this part out, you stick your pencil in here, and then after you turn it, when it's done sharpening, it will release, but it has the little tray here on the bottom with your pencil shavings, and it's very easy to pull in and out and empty. It's very easy to clean. The back just screws off back here, and then you can just pull this piece out. So if it ever gets stuck, you can do that. I'm not going to do that here because I don't want my desk full of shavings. The next option, especially if you're going to be mobile with your coloring, are these little comb sharpeners. Now I had the double sharpener just like these. I believe these are called the magnesium alloy pencil sharpeners, and one of my wonderful subscribers knew that I had lost mine and couldn't find it anywhere. It might even be sitting in the tote that I used to take when I used to take my coloring with me and go sit in a coffee shop. But she was so sweet and she sent me these. She sent me 3 of them, but these are super, super nice, and they sharpen your pencils really, really well. So if you just want something that is more portable that you could stick in your tote and take with you, these are a fantastic choice. My number 5 essential is swatch charts. Now once you have your colored pencils, you've got them all into color family order, you've got them into their cases, you want to swatch your colors on a swatch chart. Now this swatch chart is the 72 swatch chart that is available in my Etsy shop. This is the swatch chart for my Derwent Lightfast. I just wanted you to be able to see what it looks like once all the colors are swatched out and how convenient it is. It makes it so much easier to match up your colors, see what colors go together, and then use those on your coloring pages. Okay, so these are the blank swatch charts that are from my Etsy shop. This one is for 120 colors, and then this one is to swatch 72 colors if you decide to go with a set of pencils that is a little bit smaller just to start out. And for this one, I had a lot of you suggest, especially those of you that are beginners, you wanted a swatch chart where each one of the boxes were divided. So when I'm swatching out my colors, I like to lay the colors down in a gradient. You can see that from looking at this one here. So I do it in lighter pressure than medium pressure, where I lay down a couple layers, and then much harder pressure. And you could see that I did that with all of them. So that is the reason for this swatch chart here. You don't have to try to create a gradient all on your own. You've got the different boxes for each color to be able to do that. And then I have the 72 swatch chart without the lines in it. And then under this category, I also wanted to share this with you. This is the coloring page planner workbook that is available in my Etsy shop, and it has several things included in it that makes it really helpful to be able to plan out your coloring pages. But I just wanted to show you a couple of the pages that are inside of the coloring page planner workbook. Now there is a lot more included in this workbook, but these pages are super important. This is a coloring page tracker. As you're coloring your page, this page allows you to keep track of everything you're coloring on the page and list all of the colors. You have a space to put your color combination for each one of those colors here, so you can save those for later or go back and refer to them again, and it allows you to know what colors you're using for each part of the page. I just recently colored a page and I went back to it after a very long time, and y'all, you should have seen me trying to sit here and match up the colors, and I colored some more on the page, and the colors weren't exact. I mean, it still looked okay, but if you want to keep track of your exact colors and not forget the colors that you used, this is perfect for that. You've got a place to keep all your notes, and then up here you would just list the coloring coloring book, the name and number of the page, the artist, your name here for the colorist, of course, and then a start date and a completion date. This is the coloring page, pre-planning page, and this just helps you to plan everything out and list your ideas that you have before you start coloring your page. But you've got plenty of spaces for pre-planning notes and the mediums that you're going to be using, and then you have this area down here to be able to swatch out your colors and test them before you use them on your coloring pages. Now, when you're printing any of these things out, I always suggest the Spring Hill paper, which is a really nice bright white paper. And we're going to talk about that next, because my next essential category is going to be where we're going to discuss paper. Okay, so if you are printing out swatch charts, or you are going to Etsy and purchasing PDFs of coloring pages, you want a good paper. Now, this is the Spring Hill paper. This is the 80-pound Spring Hill paper, and I absolutely love it. It is a very thick paper, and it does have quite a bit of tooth. I have just emptied all of my reams of Spring Hill paper and put them into this really nice paper holder here, and then I just leave it in my cabinet so that I can pull the paper whenever I need it. But these are great for printing out swatch charts, and if you have purchased any of the workbooks or anything in my Etsy shop, then this paper is wonderful, especially if you've purchased any of my workbooks, like my color combinations and blending workbook, or my flowers and leaves practice workbook, which has been super popular. This is a great paper to have. I highly suggest printing any of those out on this paper because it works really well with your colored pencils. The next paper I absolutely love is this toned tan paper. If you've been watching my channel for quite some time, you already know that this is one of my favorites. Now, this paper is 9 by 12, so you are going to need a paper cutter to cut it down so that you could fit it in your printer to print out your coloring pages, but it is spiral bound. It is perforated so that the pages come out very nicely, and I just absolutely love this paper. It is a thinner paper, makes it very easy to color. It's a quicker color. You don't have to lay down several layers on this paper, and when I color on this paper, I tend to get my coloring pages done a lot faster. Here is one page that I colored on this paper. I put it in my paper cutter and I cut it down, and then I just slid it into my printer and I was able to color on it. I did this with Holbeins, but if you look at this, you can see all of those pops of color, like right here where I added a little bit of extra white. I just took my white pencil and went over a lot of the areas on here, or like a really bright yellow. I used a lot of white all in here, and it just really makes those highlights pop off of that toned tan color. You can see that right here all around the little decorative area of her dress, and then even in my leaves, they just really pop, all that bright yellow. I do want to say there are some gorgeous colors in that Holbein set. So many bright colors that just pop off the pages, but if you are doing it on the toned tan paper, it is going to pop even all that much more. I mean, even the little lizard here, look at all the bright, beautiful colors that just pop right off the tan paper. And then for another option, I have the Strathmore colored pencil paper. This one is also 9 by 12, and I picked these up at Michael's or Hobby Lobby when they have their paper sales because they're a little bit more expensive. Now, this paper is a white paper, but it's not bright white if you compare it to the Spring Hill, and it is a very thick paper. It does have quite a bit of tooth. The tooth is a little bit different than that Spring Hill paper. This paper is amazing when you're working with your colored pencils. If you're somebody who wants to add those extra layers so you could see all that added dimension and depth, and you are ready to move on to a better paper, this paper is fantastic. But I do use both this and the Spring Hill paper, and I love the toned tan paper. So this gives you quite a few different options. Now, if you are just starting with this hobby, I would not suggest going out and purchasing all of this paper. Just choose one that you think would work best for you so that you don't have all these coloring supplies laying around that you may not ever need. I believe we are on the number 7 essential category. So I have my favorite erasers here. This one is the mono eraser. It is absolutely wonderful. It has the little tiny tip on here so that you can get into very small spaces. This is wonderful, especially if you're coloring in a coloring book like Johanna Basford's coloring book, where you've got very small little things to color. It picks the color up from your colored pencils so well. But you can purchase refills for it once you run out. I've got a few refills sitting over there because I've gone through quite a few of this. This is a great eraser. You just push this out just like you would a pencil by pushing the top. You can push it in and out and adjust it to where it works best for you so that you can use it on your coloring pages. And then this eraser here, it doesn't have the label on it anymore because I've used up so much of it and I had to take the label off, but it is a General's eraser. I will always have it linked for you down in the description box below. This is wonderful for pulling the colors up in larger areas, or even if you're using something like pastels and you want to white out a certain area, this is wonderful. But you can use either one of these to pull up color on your coloring pages. This one is fantastic if you go a little bit out of the lines because you can very easily pull the color up. But both of these are wonderful for different reasons. So you've got two different options here, but these are my absolute favorites. Okay, so we are on category number 8. I have my color wheel here, and I don't have any other options for a color wheel because this is the one I've been using for years. I've probably had this for 5 years now. I love it. I use it all of the time. I use it to help me choose my colors. And this one is really great, especially for beginners, because it gives you little tips right on the color wheel so that you can understand color theory just a little bit better. It has a whole section down here for definitions. It explains warm colors, cool colors, hue, tint, tone, and shade. And then if I flip it over here to the other side, it talks all about color schemes and explains what complementary colors are, split complementary, a triad of colors, monochromatic, and so on and so forth. But this is a really great color wheel, and a color wheel is just really helpful for helping you choose the colors you want to put down on your coloring pages. When you're trying to put colors next to one another and you want the colors to be contrasting, you can go to your color wheel and just choose 2 very contrasting colors that stand out from one another. If you want to make something on your coloring page the actual focal point, you can use one color on whatever that object is, and then you can use other colors that are really going to make your focal point stand out and be the center of your coloring page. So a color wheel is really helpful. I do have a video I did very recently where I talked about choosing your colors and putting colors together. I showed you how to do that with a color wheel. I also have another video where I showed you how to choose colors, and I believe that I showed you exactly how to use the color wheel to do that. I've got a couple different videos doing that, so I will try to link what I can find in the upper right hand corner if you're not familiar with color wheels, but this color wheel is a really great one. So for my number 9 essential category, I have Posca pens and gel pens. Now this is going to be your choice which one you want. I don't know if you're going to decide you want to go with both, but these are fantastic for adding highlights on your coloring pages. Now these are all white Poscas. I purchased them just like this. They come in this set of 3, and they all have different tips on them. This one is the smallest of the 3, and this is the next one. It's not as pointy on the tip, and this is the fattest one if you really want to get some of that color down there. But they work by pumping them, so you would pump them and then you're going to get a stream of paint that comes from the paint pens, and they are just wonderful. You could purchase these in white. The white are the best if you just want to add highlights and reflections, and I even use these to fix mistakes. If I lay down too much of a color and I want to come back and lighten it up, I will go right over it with my Posca. You can use these to get rid of the line art in coloring books and really make the objects on your pages pop. I have a video where I just showed how to do that, so I'll try to link that in the upper right hand corner if I can. Then we have gel pens, and gel pens are super fun, whether you're using white gel pens or not using white gel pens, but I wanted to keep this category specific to just adding highlights on your coloring pages. But I've got a couple different gel pens here. This is my Signo Uniball, and this is my absolute favorite because this is a 1mm tip. When I use my gel pens on my coloring pages, especially over pencil. I find that the 1mm tips go down over the pencil much easier. Now, I have been using my jelly rolls much more than I used to. I used to have trouble with my jelly rolls, but I've really had good luck with them lately. This is the 0.8 jelly roll, and this one has been working really well on top of my Prismacolors, and this one is just a little bit thinner than the 1mm. These are the Art and Fly gel pens, and I find that these work really well too. They come in this package just like this, where you get 3, and it doesn't say anywhere on the package what size the tips are of these, but I used them in a video one day and I was really impressed with them, so I wanted to share these too. But that is what the tip on this one looks like. They are a thinner gel pen, but if I were to choose one out of all of these, I would say that my Uniball gel pen is probably the best, because it does go down over my pencil work easiest most of the time, and it does have the 1mm tip, which helps the color to lay down on my coloring pages a lot easier. Now, if I were going to choose between gel pens and Posca pens, you've probably noticed in a lot of my videos that I pick up my Posca pens first. If I'm not having much luck with my gel pens, I go straight to my Posca pens. And the Posca pen that I use most is probably this one that is right in the middle. It says right here, this is the 1.3mm, and I think this is actually my favorite one, because I find that the smallest one, sometimes the color doesn't come out as much as I need to, but this one is also great for very tiny little spaces. If I just want to add dots for our highlights, I tend to use this one. If I want to go over and hide some line art, I will use this one. And then if I want to get a lot of color down on my paper, I will use this one that has the really huge tip. For the number 10 category, this one is just going to be extras. These are things that you don't need to purchase. They are not necessarily essential to your coloring journey, but they are super fun. And I feel like these are things that I bought in the very beginning to add to my coloring pages. So these are my Color It gel pens. These are my absolute favorite gel pens. It comes with both of these already in their cases. So this is the glitter set. These are just wonderful because, like I said, I like using gel pens that have a 1mm tip on them. But you could see on the tip of each one of these, it tells you that this is a 1mm gel pen. So looking through all of these, it looks like every single one in this glitter set are all 1mm gel pens. But I just really love these, and they add a little bit of sparkle to your coloring pages. I love them. And then we have this set, which is just the regular set, and it has an assortment of some things, so you do still get some glitter pens in here, and these do all say 1mm on them. When we flip over here, I think these are more metallic. You've got your gold and you've got your silver, and then these actually say 0.8 on the tip, so they are still a little bit of a wider tip, which really helps to lay the color down on your coloring pages, or even if you're just straight coloring with them, you want to have the wider tip on them. I believe a lot of these are the neon colors, but these are just super fun, and they come with really nice cases already, so you don't have to purchase cases. And that is the one other thing that I really love about them. And look at this glitter on this case, so you know exactly which one your glitter gel pens are in, because the case has all this really gorgeous glitter on it. It's so pretty. So the next fun thing in this category is not necessarily something that you really need, but if you're going to be doing backgrounds, this is a fantastic pastel set that you could get in a budget. It's usually right around $10-11. Sometimes it drops to $8, but this will last you absolutely forever, and they are so fun to use. I do actually have a tutorial using these, but these Mungio pastels are just really wonderful. They are fantastic for beginners. They go down on your coloring pages so easily, but I really just wanted to show these because you get 64 different colors. You've got plenty of colors to be able to blend together that work really nicely with each other. But I will say, if you're going to be using these on your coloring pages, you will need to purchase some kind of fixative to lay over the top of them so that they stay and they don't spread to the other coloring pages in your coloring books. But these are just a fantastic thing to have to be able to add backgrounds to your coloring pages, and they're super fun to use. And they also do come very nicely packaged. You just put the top over like that, and then they have this sleeve that you could just slide them right into. And the last fun thing are, of course, stickles. Y'all know that these were somehow going to make their way into my video, but these are all my stickles, and they are super, super fun. I've got many different colors. I doubt that I have every color, but I do have my favorites. Some of my favorites in here are the grapefruit. This one is a gorgeous color. It's like a bright corally orange with lots of golds, and it looks really iridescent. It's super, super pretty. Another favorite of mine is the mermaid tail. This one is another really beautiful color. Another favorite is the sunburst. I probably use this color more than any other color on all of my coloring pages. I love to put this over yellow because it doesn't cover the pencil work that I just laid down. It just adds an extra little glittery sparkle to my coloring pages. And my other absolute favorite is the hibiscus, and I use this a lot of times over reds or pinks. And it's the same thing. It's not super, super opaque to where it's going to cover up your pencil work. It just lays down a lot of glitter and sparkle and gives that extra little added bling to your coloring pages. And then I really also love these here. I've got crystal and diamond and stardust. And I think out of the three, my favorite is probably the stardust because it looks much more iridescent. And I love just laying this down as a layer over any color family. So with the number 10 essentials being the fun category, I wanted to be able to show you on a coloring page where I used those. So on this page, I did use the Color It gel pens, and you can see in all of these little squiggly things all across the page that I had a lot of fun with these gel pens. And these have been on here for probably close to a couple years now, and they are still glittery. But the gel pens just really help you to add a little bit of glitter and bling and a little something extra to your coloring pages. I really, really love them. All of the stars right here were all done, I think, with gel pens. And then I came back with my stickles, and I'll hold it a little closer so you could see it, but those are all stickles, and I believe the stickles that I laid over that gel pen were probably the stardust. All of this is all gel pens here on the tires, and then this is either gel pen or Posca that I outlined her jeans in. So these are just extra fun things that you can use on your coloring pages that will just add a little something. I did straight color with all the gel pens, and that's why I was suggesting that if you are going to go with gel pens, to choose gel pens that have the 1mm tip on them, because when you're just straight coloring with them like this, you really want that color to go right down on the paper, and you don't want it to look streaky. But I think that really helps having the bigger tip to avoid that streakiness that you may see with some gel pens, and it also helps the color to flow a lot better down on top of your colored pencil work. And then this is Jane Hankin's Imaginary World. I'm not sure if these are available anymore, but I wanted to be able to show you where I used those pastels. I'm pretty sure that this was the Mungio pastels, and I'm pretty sure there's also a tutorial on this. If I can find it, I will link it so that you can easily find it. But they go down really beautifully on your coloring pages. But they are just a really great cheap budget option if you want to grab a set of pastels to add some backgrounds to your coloring pages. And they are just a lot of fun to use. Okay, so that is my top 10 essential coloring supplies, all in categories. And I hope that this video was helpful and that you enjoyed it. I hope you were able to decide which products would be best for you. Now again, don't go through this video and think that you need to purchase every single thing. Just go through the 10 categories as you watch the video and maybe jot down on a piece of paper which one out of each one of those categories you think would better suit your needs as a colorist. Everything that you've seen in this video I will have linked in the description box below. So in this video, if there were any helpful videos that I had referred to, such as tutorials or anything like that, if I cannot link them in the upper right hand corner, I will try to link them down in the description box below. If you're looking for a certain something that I referred to while you were watching the video and you can't find it, let me know in the comments below and I would be glad to find you a link so that you can much more easily find it. but I will definitely have everything linked for you down in the description box below. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Happy coloring. Bye.